JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, 3 shot in Montego Bay, attacker being sought. The police in St. James have increased their presence in downtown Montego Bay after a man shot 3 people on Tuesday afternoon. The victims, a 28-year-old man from Ryan Park, an 18-year-old female from Spot Valley, both in St. James, and a 32-year-old delivery man from a Kingston 11 address, are now nursing gunshot wounds. The police are searching for the lone attacker. It is reported that about 1:20 p.m., the 28-year-old man drove to a section of St. James Street in the vicinity of the Ruby service station, where he parked outside the supermarket and went to purchase cigarettes. He was subsequently approached by a man who brandished a handgun and fired several shots at him. The man ran and was chased by the gunman, who fired a barrage of shots at him. He was hit. During the ordeal, the 18-year-old woman who was waiting for a taxi and the delivery man who was dropping off goods in the area were also shot. Following the shooting, the gunman escaped on foot in the area. The police subsequently responded to the incident and transported all 3 injured persons to hospital, where they were treated. One female shopper who witnessed the shooting said that she is lucky to be alive, as the man was being chased, running in her direction as the shots were being fired at him. To tell you the truth, it's the first time I've ever experienced such a thing, said the woman, who said that she and her cousin were walking towards a pawn shop at the popular city center when the incident happened. You know, as 2 women, we are walking and look on things by, but as we walk towards Gully bus stop, we hear gunshot a fire and we see people are run come towards we. By the time I turn around to look for my cousin, me see her run go down the road, the woman said. Me jump out of the way and run towards one supermarket door. Then me see the gunman run come back down the road after the other man. But when the insisted couldn't catch him just run go back up the road, the woman added. 21 held in Spanish Town crackdown. Almost 2 dozen detainees were taken into custody on Tuesday as the St. Catherine North Police stepped up security operations in the division with snap raids in crime hotspots, including Lakes Pen, Ellerslie Pen, Tulse Pen, and Spanish Town proper. Operations Officer, Deputy Superintendent of Police Linroy Edwards, said the police were on an all-out assault on criminals throughout the division. 21 persons were held. Edwards said that the team went into Lakes Pen targeting a top-tier gangster. However, the suspect managed to escape, but other players and relatives were detained. They were held and are going through an interview process. The space will not be a haven, whether it's clans or one or the gangsters, Edwards said. The reference is for the main gangs that have unleashed a reign of terror for 2 decades. 33 members of the One Don Gang, a splinter of Klansmen, are currently facing trial on a slew of charges under the anti-gang legislation. Residents of Lakes Pen gave mixed reactions to the police operation on Tuesday, with some agreeing that it was necessary to quell the tensions in the community. We think that the police should be inside here to deal with the criminal them that take over the place, a resident, who requested not to be named because of security concerns, said. Householders reported that despite the presence of a police checkpoint in the community, shootings and robberies still occurred. We want the police to keep up the pressure, but there must be some investigation to properly prosecute their cases, a taxi driver said. It is understood that the police have had to exercise caution in engaging with residents because divisions also run along political lines. Sections of Lakes Pen are said to be supportive of the People's National Party, and there are fears that the drama generated by the trial proceedings of which are taking place in Kingston could ripple across the community. Edwards said the police would be professional and unbiased in their approach to crime. He disclosed that a business place in Spanish Town was raided and uncustomed goods seized on Tuesday. We'll continue to go at the gangsters wherever they are, Edwards said. So far, one man has turned himself into the police and he's been housed at the station. Illegal gun seized in Kingston Town, man arrested. The police in St. Catherine have arrested a man following the seizure of an illegal gun in Kingston Town. He is expected to be charged. The police report that a team was on patrol in the area Tuesday morning when the man was seen acting in a suspicious manner. He was held and searched. The police say a 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 11 rounds of ammunition was taken from him. He was then taken into custody. CAD says claims that St. Thomas teen fined for COVID breach falls. The Court Administration Division says claims that a teenager was fined $200,000 by a court for failing to wear a mask in public are false. The teen was among several persons who appeared before the St. Thomas Parish Court on Wednesday, for breaches of the Disaster Risk Management Act, DRMA. The breaches were committed in August. 30 persons were charged for failing to wear masks, of which 18 were each fined $200,000, while 10 were each fined $50,000. The other 2 were fined $20,000 and $10,000 respectively. And another 30 persons were charged for breaching curfew restrictions, of which 22 were each fined $200,000 and the other 8 were each fined $50,000. In a statement today, the agency said that minors are not ordinarily listed before the criminal court, with this only occurring in instances where they are charged with an adult, and in those circumstances, a parent or guardian is present. Acting Director of Client Services, Communications and Information, Kadisha Fletcher, stated that the minor in question was charged and brought before the court as an adult, but when his age was brought to the attention of the judge, he was admonished, and the matter transferred to the Children's Court, where he is to appear today. She said that the teen was not fined $200,000, and reports to the contrary are not true. Fletcher added that all of the children who were charged with adults for breaches of the DRMA were admonished and discharged. Meanwhile, Fletcher said the judiciary is also aware of concerns about fines issued by the St. Thomas Parish Court. She explained that Section 52 of the DRMA establishes the offenses and penalties under this law, with the maximum fine being $1 million. It was noted that the maximum fine issued by the court on Wednesday was $200,000. The sixth schedule, which accompanies the Act and outlines the fixed penalties for various breaches of the law, applies only in instances where tickets are issued by the police. Once a person is brought before the court, this schedule does not apply, and the judge is guided by the statute only, Fletcher stated. The Houses of Parliament passed legislation for the introduction of fixed penalties for persons who are deemed to be in breach of certain aspects of the DRMA. The fixed penalties, which are issued in the form of tickets, must be paid within 30 days, failing which a summons will be issued by the court for the person's arrest. However, the ticketing regime has not been implemented, and persons are still being locked up for offenses such as failure to wear masks. A person is brought to court under the DRMA and convicted before a parish court is liable to a maximum fine of $1 million or to imprisonment not exceeding 1 year. Employees of independent schools to receive grants. Approximately $250 million in grants will be paid to employees of independent schools under the government's COVID-19 Allocation of Resources of Employees Care Program. Cabinet has approved the payment to academic, administrative, and ancillary staff in institutions registered with the Ministry of Education's Independent Schools Unit. More than 5,000 persons are employed to some 294 of these institutions island-wide. Academic and administrative staff are slated to receive $40,000 each, and ancillary employees $25,000. This was announced by Education Minister Favour Williams during Wednesday's post-cabinet digital media briefing. The provision comes against the background of the extent to which the coronavirus pandemic has affected employees of independent schools. Williams said despite the impact of the pandemic and infection prevention control measures on the educational sector, staff in public schools remain employed and continued to receive their salaries and relevant allowances. She noted that the CARE program made provisions for grant payments to 2,140 employees in early childhood institutions registered by the Early Childhood Commission. Williams said similar arrangements were requested of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, which administers the CARE program for the employees of independent schools. She pointed out, however, that this will only apply to persons at primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions approved and submitted to the CARE program by the ministry. Meanwhile, Williams advised that approximately $15 billion in direct financial payments have to date been disbursed to assist businesses, individuals, and self-employed persons affected by the severe economic disruption caused by COVID-19 since the program's inception in mid-2020. She said the main sectors benefiting were tourism, business process outsourcing, transport, and municipality-related operations. 435 new COVID-19 cases in Jamaica, 6 more deaths. Jamaica recorded 435 new COVID-19 cases and 6 deaths on Wednesday, bringing the infection total to 81,394 and the virus death toll to 1,809. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported that the new cases comprise 227 females and 182 males with ages ranging from 2 days to 95 years. 26 additional cases are under investigation. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew, 120, St. Catherine, 95, St. Elizabeth, 58, Clarendon and Manchester, 36 each, St. James, 26, St. Thomas, 19, St. Anne, 18, Portland, 16, Westmoreland, 5, Trelawney, 3, Hanover, 2, St. Mary, 1. The deceased are a 27-year-old female from St. Elizabeth, a 35-year-old female from Kingston and St. Andrew, a 47-year-old female from Manchester, a 59-year-old female from St. Elizabeth, a 67-year-old female from Manchester, and a 76-year-old male from St. Catherine. Jamaica has 27,480 active cases after 187 people recovered from the virus, bringing the total number of recoveries to 51,544. Currently, 670 people are hospitalized, 97 of which are severely ill, while 50 are critically ill and 137 are moderately ill. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.